Hello everyone. Um, I guess we are here for RPA and without wasting time we should start it. Right. So let's start with the introduction. My name is Anuj Sharma. I lead the community and operations here at Hacker Skill. And today we are here for robotic process automation developer camp. And I'll quickly take you through what RPDC is, why are we here, and what are we going to do. So RPA is a software technology that enables the use of computer software robots to build, manage, deploy, do repetitive tasks, and a lot of things, right? And RPA is one of the most trending technologies also. So, with the vision and aim of helping out students start their journey with RPA, clear out their myths and facts, and support them along with the experience and insight from the industry experts, we planned out RPADC. We did a RPADC in the month of January, and we are here with a cohort 2. So, in today's session, you will learn more about what RPA is, what are the myths and facts, what is the difference between traditional automation and RPA, along with what UiPath Academy is, what UiPath Studio is, and how can you build your first bot. So, without wasting time, I'd like to invite our speaker, Mr. Syed Pasha, who has been selected as the UiPath MVP 3 times in a row, and who is the lead RPA developer at Robo. Just add him. Hi, Syed. How are you?
I'm super good, Anush. Thank you for inviting me here, and
Great.
really
So,
glad and excited to talk to you guys.
same here. The students must be also be excited. And I guess I got your designation wrong. Automation lead, I said RPA lead. Sorry for that. So automation lead at Rubio and 3 times UiPath MVP winner. So over to you, Said. You can share your screen and start. I won't take much time.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Anush. And then, yeah, today we have festivals across, I believe. Happy Vishu
Yeah,
and
same to
and
you.
we have a Good Friday to most of the folks. Just let me know if you can see my laptop screen.
Not yet.
Can you guys see the laptop screen, Anush?
No.
Okay. Yes, I've got it now. I believe you can now.
Yes, now we can see.
Thank you very much. For just the interest of the folks in the network bandwidth, I've turned off my video camera, and let me just give a quick yes to get started with. Are we all good?
Yes, we are good to go.
Perfect. Thank you. Hey everyone, good evening, and thanks for taking out your time on a weekend to understand, to give your valuable time to us, and help us to explain you something around the RPA world. So in this session, we're going to be talking about RPA, which is robotic process automation. What is robotic process automation? So this is the slide which tells about that. Let me take it through what is written there. Robotic process automation is a technology that enables software program to mimic human actions while interacting with computer applications to accomplish required tasks. Some human interactions that can be automated, keyboard inputs, mouse movements, reading computer screen. Of course, we all need to know the benchmark definition of RPA. Let me also put you a little slight different understanding for an RPA. What is evolved during the time. So if I take any company for the matter, Apple, Amazon, Google, each and every company, including our Indian unicorns, TCS, Wipro, each and every company has control over money, control over infrastructure, control over projects, over sales. One thing which is not under control of anybody in the world is the time. If my four employees of a team takes 1 month to process 1,000 invoices, to do reconciliation of 500 invoices, they are taking month of a time or 2 weeks of a time. Even if I replace those four employees with someone else, there won't be a considerable change. They may hardly take 25 days, 26 days, 22 days, but still it's the same, the 30-day matter or a 2 week matter according to whatever the structure it is. What is robotist? What's the RPA has actually changed the game here is the robots are usually 1 by 20 times faster than a human. So the same invoices, the robot hardly takes a week of time where the normal three or four human beings are taking 1 month of time. So what is happening here? The robots are giving us back 2 to 3 weeks of time in a month. So almost my 50% to 70% of the time is come back to me where I can utilize it for something else. So something which out of the practice, out of the experience, I would like to say, RPA is one such technology which gives you control on the most powerful thing on the earth, which is time. So this is a definition of our own experience. So let's take RPA and what we can do. First of all, we can mimic the human actions. You can see in your colleges, you can see your administration team sitting down and doing some activities, entering your data, entering your fee structure details, your examination details, whichever is repetitive, whichever is common in nature across the year or across the month. We can mimic those human actions using RPA and replace by a robot to do them. Why RPA? It is quick to implement and powerful to scale. So, how do you understand this? So, just maybe in another 5 to 10 minutes, whoever is watching this session can install the RPA tool in the machine, start automating. It does not require any security, any high level integration things. That is something which RPA has excelled in compared to the other technologies. The ease to use is extremely quick, operates on any application. This is one of the other advantage. So you take any application for that matter, Salesforce, SAP, you take any legacy applications like mainframes, AS400, no matter what it is, your robot can interact, can operate, can also help to do some of the activities on those applications very seamless. And structured reading and actioning data. What does this mean? So any data which is structured, which is in a very structured form, could be useful, could be processed via multiple teams, You don't need to spend too much of time there. The robot can easily understand the structure of the data and start actioning whatever you need to do it on them. The last but not least, no mistakes and without resting. So just imagine yesterday, I believe today, and it is a long festival, and most of the times people tend to enjoy their time being away from the office. But imagine if there is a critical work, if there is some critical task to be finished. Considering a lead for a company here, it gives me an immense grief to ask anybody to extend the time on a weekends or on holidays or something. So now imagine a task is being done by a robot. A robot did not ask you for holidays, and the chances of error is drastically down when a robot is performing, because it don't feel stress, it don't feel okay, 15 process मैंने कर दिया, now 16th one, let me take it for granted. So no such things. These are the advantages what RPA brings to us when we have an enterprise thing. And this is also important to understand what is not an RPA. Imagine Vino or Rajni sir already did this with Chitti robot. So that thing does not come into the RPA thing. You will not see any physical robots, and you will not see any scientific thing of a robot sitting and doing it. It's a purely inbuilt software which will be installed on your desktop, on your VMs, on your laptops, and just helps you out to perform some of the actions. Walking and talking robots? No, they are not. Warehouse robots does not fall under robotic process automation and human replacements. Any of the, you might have seen the bionic arms. None of such falls under robotics process automation definitions. What robots can do. On a very funny note, we used to say whatever a human can do in terms of their working time, a robot can do all of them. For example, the moment I go to office, I log into all my applications to see what all things on my table, what all tasks I need to finish. So my robot can do that, extract that data and put it on my table, telling, "Hey, Sayed, today you have these tasks to be finished." Moving files between folders or moving folders itself, robot can do that. Reading and writing data to the databases. So most of the time, whenever you look at any of the operational system, whatever the task that we do in a day, in a month, in a week, at the end has to be written to our databases. And we have to access data from the databases either very quite often. And robots have the capability of reading data from the databases and writing the data back to the databases either. Scrap data from the web. This is something very interesting. Most of you guys, if you go and search what are the benefits of RPA, how to learn RPA, possibly the first or the second video is scraping data from the web. In a website, I have an immense, hugely spread data, and I need to get them just at a fingertip on couple of multiple clicks. RPA can help you to extract the data, immensely fast, too fast. Connecting to system APIs. Robots not only do a user interface interaction, but they can also integrate with your backend operations like API data calling and everything. Extract data from documents. This is something. In UiPath automation practices, one of the popular area is reading the data from the documents and extracting the information, analyzing the information, and what is type of the documents. They could be text, Excel, PDFs, and this data can come to you through emails, through forms, or anything, and data could be sent back through emails and forms also. Now, opening emails and attachments, this is similar to what we just discussed. And the robots have the capability of reading the data from your emails, basis on the subject, basis on the sender info, basis on the time that email has come, and also basis on whether the email contains any attachment or not. So these are super specialities which robots on our UiPath platforms are doing on a daily basis. And of course, Now there may be someone who has a finance team. They need to do a calculations, understand the weekly revenues, understand the weekly in and out of the project budgets. The robots can sit down there, analyze the data, do the calculation, and keep it ready for you to analyze further. Would just like to take a pause. Do we have any questions, Anuj, on the comment section? Are we good to go? Like, yes, seems to good to go. Let's go back, guys. Please, you have the comment section. If you find you'd like to have any questions or something, just if you have access, please put the questions there. Uses of RPA in business. So whatever we have spoken to far so far is generic. What can be done using UiPath robots and an RPA technology. This isn't specific. Which department is reaping the benefits of RPA? To my knowledge, right from the most adapted departments are human resource, which is HR, and the finance teams. I would like to consider the accounting team is also under the finance, HR, and mostly the supply chain management. You imagine a big companies just like Volvo Group, Mercedes-Benz have a very big RPA teams doing their entire supply chain management with the help of the UiPath robots. You also can find in Hindustan Unilever is using the RPA at very immense. If you look at their open letter which published last year, they have almost 10,000 plus software robots deployed on all the RPA platforms. For education, we have seen the enrollments process has been already automated, and in my previous session, one of couple of the audience were telling that they have automated the enrollment process in their own college. So this is something which could be automated. Client services, whichever the department if you take, now most of the banks are using these software robots for the frequent asked questions and their solutions. I need to change my name, my address, my emailing address, my email ID. Half of these things is almost done using the software developers. And most importantly, I would like to tell you about the stock market back-end operations are mostly automated by a very reputed firm in Pune and Mumbai. So they have already automated the stock market transaction and stock market analyzing half of those things. And if you are a big fan of Mr. Tom Cruise, who has a franchisee of MI series, the Mission Impossible series, the MI operations are in UK is also being automated by using these RPA platforms. The major advantage of RPA adoption by a business. So, what type of advantages a business will get here? Increase in the execution speed. Imagine you're contacting a banker and trying to access some information. I would like to get my information for last month, my previous month details, my SIM card related information. Just imagine on the other side, a person is sitting and collecting your questions and trying to get the info back to you. If it is 1, 2, 10, 15 people is manageable. Imagine people contacting across India, across globe, and all these operations need a special, what do you call the special force of execution. So these software robots, whom we call them as digital employees, will take care of those activities and helping most of the organizations to serve their customers within a lightning speed. Enhanced accuracy. Even before I'll try to explain what is enhanced accuracy, let me give myself as an example. Imagine I'm filling a form of some candidates in my company, and it took for 3 hours. Until 3 hours, my energy is really awesome. I'm doing it with utmost attention. Errors, when I say human, we are tend to do errors. So after my fifth to sixth hour, my accuracy, my perfection levels are naturally expected to go down. And this is something which is software robots with the RPA robots can help you avoid. You don't need to actually struggle about, now this is the 15th hour. Is my robot going to give me a lower performance? Absolutely not. The performance levels almost consistent throughout the lifespan of a software robot. Improved regulatory compliance. So what is this? So sometimes in one of the organization, some of the employees take a very confidential data, look at the form, and uploads into an organization. This is happening since ages. Now what happened? The RPA team has pitched up a solution to them. There is a data in a form. The robot can read the form and capture it, put it inside your utmost secured application without any human knowing about that. For example, I need to store all the employees' salary data, their tax related information into my database. Could not expect a common human looking at all the employee salaries and loading the data. So a simple use case is your salary or your payroll management could be done by a robot, where of course the confidential data could not be leaked out, could not be visible to any other folks. Reduced cost of process execution. When your accuracy is increasing, when your regulatory system or your compliance system is under control, and your speed of execution is high, so the time taken to execute a process has almost drastically come down. And time is directly proportional to cost in terms of any enterprise solution. So your cost automatically helps you to reduce its overall expenditure. Now, the last one, easier scaling. I don't know how many of you can understand. You may be in a closed society. One of your colleague just purchases a bike or a vehicle or a bicycle, and the other person would like to buy it. Imagine you got it through customs, you got it through highly complicated system. It is not possible for the others to easily access or purchase those items. Now imagine you got them just by installing an app, doing a couple of clicks. If you tell them this, you obtaining this particular item is so easy, the other person can actually get them really quick. That's what's going to happen. Now imagine a finance department has installed automation services in their department, and now HR team, the audit team, the information security team would like to use the services. With the help of RPA, it is really kicked. You can scale it across the platforms, across the departments within no time. So this advantage is really keeping the RPA a most trending technology and also quickly adoptive technology on the world. Some mathematics. So far, whatever I've spoken to you is like plain English. So I'm telling, hey, I did that, I did this. But what is the language we all like? What is the language we all believe in is mathematics. So we are bringing you some numbers to understand, okay, why someone would like to think about RPA, think about investing in RPA, think about taking RPA as a career. So if you read the first one, the future of work. So RPA is going to be the future of work. Reason, the companies have understood, I don't want to force my employee to do the same thing, same task every day, every month. Reason, my employee is getting demotivated. He's not really happy doing the same thing. None of you also, none of, including me, if you ask me to do the same thing day and night, every month, every week, end of a year, I won't be really happy. And I won't get a feeling of, I'm getting respected, or my work is being respected or valued to the organization. So the estimation from the Future of Work report says the 85 million jobs may be replaced by 97 million new roles, with new division between human, machines, and algorithms. So you need to be a little more careful here. It's been replaced, or the better word to use here is transformation. None of us would be losing our jobs. Neither your elder brothers, sisters, your colleagues, your friends, your family members will not be impacted by this. But what's going to happen is the way they are doing the work would change. That's what called the transformation. And RPA market size growth. So what is happening? The global Market is growing tremendously. To be very honest, ever since COVID, the RPA market is like skyrocketing. The people investing, so that maybe someone thinking in the mind, dear Sayed, we are just students. Why are you talking about the RPA market size here? Why are you talking about the investments? So you're talking something 1.4 billion in 2019 and anticipated to exhibit a 40.6% of growth between 2020 to 2027. Why this is important to you? The more the investment, the more the projects to be implemented. The more the projects to be implemented, they need more people who has an expertise about how to build an RPA robot, software robots. Building software robots is a very small part of an automation cycle. The important thing is how do we manage these automations across. There is a life cycle of a software robot, so they need more expert people to manage them. The rapid business transformation. Now everybody understood it. It's really quick to adopt. I can easily take a 15-20 minutes to install a software robot and see how it will work. So the rapid adoption is what we're witnessing from last 2 to 3 years. Increasing job demand. Go to any of the platform of hiring of job pooling, you'll see out of five one RPO opening being placed. In my mailbox, I have almost 10 to 15 emails from my close network group asking me, hey, do you have any reference for this post, these people, these positions? And you can log into our forum.uipath.com, or you also go into our website to see on the UIpath own website as well. There is a lot of career opportunities. And of course, very, very interesting for you. It's almost 100,000 USD per year is an average an RPA developer is actually trying to get earned. And do not talk about taxes out there, but yes, this is really inspiring factor for me, a factor for you to choose to consider RPA as your quick from next day task. Daily active RPA job openings 5,000 plus. 5,000 plus are openings are being pushed into the market, where which is currently, if you would ask me, it's somewhere close to 10 to 12,000 is what I could see. Yep, the jobs are really immense. It's not why Syed the developers are so much in demand. It's not the developers alone. Now, as RPA is scaling, we need someone, an experts in doing a POCs, the proof of concepts. We need someone who's expert in building automations. The story doesn't end there. The picture doesn't end there. Once the automation is developed, once the automation is built, once the process is automated, the deployment has a lot of tasks. The testing has a lot of tasks. When these two things done, the maintenance has huge tasks. So I need an expert who know how to test an automation solution. We need an experts who know very well on deploying automation platforms on various different platforms, on Azure, on Amazon solutions, on Google Cloud platforms, on on-prem solutions. So the overall requirement of our resources, the overall requirement of people who know these things is immensely growing. Next, we did everything. We developed, we automated, we tested, we deployed. The biggest area comes now, maintenance. There is a saying we talk, okay? Reports are like your babies. So babies need babysitting as well. They need school, they need kindergarten. So they need someone to manage these robots every day, every week. So the maintenance team require a people who has a support experience, who know how to fix the issues, how to close the tickets, how to understand why a robot failed. So this is overall not only a developer, the person who do POC, the person who explain how to do a POC, who's nothing but the RPA business analyst. Every role is evolving with RPA, and their skyrocketing number of openings being posted every day. Let me take a quick pause. Any questions out there for me in the comment section? So will you please talk about its security, how secure RPA is, because it will have access to all our personal details. Now this is something really interesting to understand. How do we consider RPA is secure? So any of the platform take your details will not be stored within their networks. Here the robot only processing your information. It's only taking your information with all the encryptions. So UiPath follows the 256 encryption and also multi-factor authentications whenever we are using any credentials or any of the data. And UiPath or an RPA vendors don't store this data, guys. This data is stored in your own platforms. If imagine I'm a company, I'm TCS, I'm Wipro. I've taken UiPath as one of the solution, and the data whatever I give, the robot only uses it. It only interacts, and UiPath has no access to store this data in their own platforms. So the data is read from the database which is installed in Wipro, TCS, or IBM, processed, and again stored back in the same databases. So no spilling out of data, no accessing data, no personal use of the data. So you guys can now feel secure about that. And of course, something interesting to show you. It has been a habit for UiPath. It's been everyday task for UiPath team to keep winning, to keep being at number one positions. You go to Gartner, you pick up report of any quarter or any year, you'd see UiPath leading there. What is the reason for this? To my personal belief, to my personal opinion, the immense adoption of UiPath by everybody. The UiPath community is almost 15 million, which is too huge. I'm sorry to use this 1.5 million, which is too huge. And these 1.5 million people are frequently contributing. Now imagine one person is using UiPath Studio, his requirement is different. He tested, he tried to fulfill his requirement. If he did it, he's immediately coming and telling us, hey, this worked well. If that couldn't be fulfilled, if that requirement couldn't fulfill, we have the feedback form, we have the feedback option in UiPath Studio itself, where most of the feedbacks we receive, UiPath immediately accepts and gives out that solution. This is something which I personally felt, the evolution and the feedback adoption and immediately working on the feedback is always keeping UiPath on top, not only at the community front, but also by the enterprise front. The quick to use, easy to implement is something which the enterprise houses are liking about it. Let's try to understand among these RPA platforms, we're trying to understand UiPath here. So UiPath has no definitions again, it's just a name. And this platform has, or this suite has three important components. The first thing going to be UiPath Studio. This is the place where magic happens. This is the place where people can automate things, people design automations, people automate processes. Before you understand about Studio, before you understand about automation, there should be one question coming in your mind. Say, what do we actually develop here? What do we actually automate here? So we automate processes. What is a process? What is a processes? What are processes? Every action in any company, every task in any company has a standard operating procedure. Imagine there's a new person joined my team and I'm a HR guy and I need to fill the new employee details in my organization. I cannot do it on my own way. I have to follow this step one, I have to follow this step two, then I have to follow this step three. So this sequential order has to be followed. Such thing, such standard procedure to do a task is nothing but a process, which contains rules and some standard to do it. So using this UiPath Studio, we automate such processes. Now imagine there is a task which does not have any rule. I don't know how to do it. I can do it on my own wish. So most of the times, it is recommended not to automate such processes which does not follow any of the rules and regulations. So Studio helps us to automate the processes, to design our workflows with the help of minimal code, which we will try to see in a couple of minutes in a demo. Then our second very important thing is I would like to go to robot. What is the purpose of this robot? I have I've automated something. I've developed a code. The first destination of a code, the first objective of a code is to execute. So these robots actually help us to see by executing our automation, by executing our solution, is it working appropriate or not. Then we have orchestrator. So what is the purpose of this orchestrator? How could I say this? Let me take a road transport system in your city. If you're from a metropolitan city, there are a lot of buses, moving around, going around. Do they go on their own wish? Absolutely no. They have a central authority who manages which number bus starts from which location, reaches at which point, by what time. So, this UiPath orchestrator takes care of the complete controlling and monitoring of these software robots and the processes in any of the organization. So, this is something like, as we say, it's the heart of your automation. Orchestrator plays the role of what do you call? I call a brain and heart both. So whatever you see on the screen right now is a small representation of how an automation works. How do we pick some activities? How do we put them on our studio and how do we run it? We'll try to see them in detail. So this is how an orchestrator looks. So it takes care, it contains reports, it contains assets, queues. You get to know most of those things in the RPA DC, which Anuj and Hack to Skill team is conducting. You get to learn them in detail in the coming days. Run your automations from a desktop, data center, cloud. To be honest, I would say you can run these robots from anywhere. One quick example, due to pandemic, when the first lockdown announced 2020 March, most of the people were not aware how long this is going to continue. And nobody is expected to roam around. No one is allowed to go to offices. And one company based out of Bangalore, which is very big, they wanted to do certain action, certain process at the end of the month. And that data actually is only in one desktop in a company. And that desktop luckily has UiPath systems installed and configured. No one is expected to go to office. So 31st of the March or 31st of the March is reaching. So we need to finish that task. That's when we reached out to UiPath and UiPath team has done, hey, lucky thing is you installed and you configured the robots and we able to operate the system and proceed those transactions without any one of us reaching the office. It was a really unsecured environment that time. So this is something which a real use case where you can execute your robots from anywhere. Your job could be done from anywhere. And these software robots have a category of attended and unattended. What is attended robot? So it's something like I open my system, I click to start. So the robot will only start when a human goes in front of the system and tell it to run. So such things falls under attended automation. What is the other side? Fully attended. Fully unattended. What does it mean? You only need to access the orchestrator, a web-based tool. That's enough. So UiPath Orchestrator is a web-based tool. So you log in from anywhere across the world if you have the access. So I log in from anywhere, use the orchestrator, execute the robot, rerun the process, check it, all the logs. If it is failing, I can understand why it is failing. And I can also assign this ticket to one of the developer asking, hey, can you check, fixing this issue. So that's what the type of robots perform. Now, what is this hybrid environment? So what UiPath has come up with is the automation happens in two different ways. One, UI based. So what does that mean? It uses the UI interface of an application of a website, just like how you and I click, the robot also click the same thing. The second way is backend processing. Just like use APIs, use inbuilt software drivers to interact with an application and perform. So it is not seen over the screen. So the robot will be doing the job at the back end. With the hybrid model, you can run an attended process as well as a background process simultaneously together. So this is something which is pathbreaking at the in the industry right now. Most of the companies are trying to experiment because the license utilization. UiPath came and said, "Hey, don't try to buy licenses for each and everything. If this is the structure, so two processes you automated were background and one process is the foreground. Then mix it and run through one license." So which is actually saving a lot of companies with a huge money. So Syed, everything looks good. So where do I go and install? You have this documentation. You simply click here and you'll find everything to learn, from where, how to install Studio. Docs.uipath.com is one place where you can learn. Or I would also request you to register yourself in cloud.uipath.com. From there, you can download the studio. Once you do the proper registration, you can download your studio and execute your task just like this. These are the two things. Here, you could see download studio. Once you do a registration properly, you'll get this option. Download studio, this is for free. You don't need to pay anything. This is called community edition. And you can use it very well, just like how we guys are doing it. Let's go back to it. Build an automation using UiPath. Okay, let's do something. So for building an automation, we need UiPath Studio. This is how UiPath Studio looks like. To make it really quick, we'll try to give some suggestions to people in the city what they should wear. So the first thing we choose here is the process, and we give a name, what to wear suggestion. So this automation name is, we're telling, we give recommendations on what to wear from each city user chooses, and simply click on create. If you could see this entire UiPath Studio is built on VB.NET platform. It uses some of the frameworks from VB.NET, and it also supports C Sharp. So if someone of you are really good with VB and C Sharp, for you, UiPath is like, what do you call, like very easy to learn and very easy to implement. It usually restores all the dependencies needed for this. And once we get it, let me tell you what we're going to do now. We will ask user to select a city, and then we will see the temperature in that city. If the temperature is below 15 degrees, we'll recommend them to wear a jacket. If the temperature is between 15 degrees to 30 degrees, we will recommend them to wear a shirt. And if the temperature is beyond 30 degrees, we recommend them to stay indoors and try to be in an air condition. This is a quick one, and we'll see how do we actually do this. So to make it happen, UiPath has some designers you see here: sequence, flowchart, state machine, global handler, and workflow. So sequence is nothing but my steps are one after the other. If my process, I'm automating something and the steps are like one after the other. If step one is done, then only step two. If step two is done, then only step three, and there is no coming back. In such scenarios, choose sequence. What is flowchart? My step one is done, step two is done. In step two, I'm checking whether yes or no. According yes or no, I'm going to step three. If it is no, I'm again coming back to step one. If your design, if your automation, if your process is in that platform, is in that module, then choose flowchart. The current one, what we do now, just requires a sequence, so we use a sequence. So when you do automation, something important is give a proper naming. What to wear suggestions. Give proper naming, and we also recommend to give annotations. I'm not talking too much, stressing too much on the best practices, but these are something which actually gives a very good look. In this project, we suggest users about the temperature in the city. Now, what do I need to do? I need to find the temperature in Chennai. I need to find the temperature in Gurgaon, in Mumbai. So I need to open a website. To make it happen, we're using this. Open browser activity. You go to this place. This is called the place where you have all the activities, and the middle screen is called designer panel, and the right side you'll see properties. Whatever you wanted to do. I want to close an application. Type here. You get that. I want to open an application. I have it here. I want to kill a process. I have it here. I want to type something. We have the activities here. So please explore this place, explore this area. It's very interesting. I want to open a website. So I simply said open. It asked, you want to open an application or a browser? I want to open a browser because there I'll try to search, what is the temperature. So I took the browser. So which website I wanted to go? It should be in double quotes, www.com. I go there, and then I type. What do I type? I'm going to type there. Weather in Chennai. And then I have to press enter. So I'm selecting a enter tab from here. I'll show this again. Don't mind. There's a drop down, and then you select this. So let's run this program and see what happens. The robot launched, but it launched on a different portal. So what is important when you're using an open browser activity, when you there is something which browser you want. So let me stop this. So I go here, I'll select Chrome and save. This is the place where you can run the automation. You can see the run button there. Weather in Chennai. Perfect. The robot did it by itself. It has extracted the weather in Chennai. So now what I need? I need to extract this data, 32 degrees, and check what is the number falling in, and accordingly we do next activities. Now Syed, I don't want Chennai. I want user to tell me which city. Input. When I type input dialog is there. Drag and drop this input dialog activity. It talks about title, temperature in city. Check. And I'm giving a label telling, hey, please enter the city name. And most of you know, user is giving this data, so I need to store it in a variable. So how do we create variables in UiPath? You have the variable tab there, and there is a naming convention. So this is going to be a string. I'm saying str underscore city name, and variables follow this type of naming convention. So click here, str city name. So whatever the data user is providing, that comes here, input dialog. Now I'm opening this browser and coming here, a small data manipulation I'm doing, which is very, very simple. You can see it. Control space, I'm giving that name. Now see what happens. Save. And there is this one open. I'm closing it manually. But at the end of this practice, we see the robot is closing that as well. So it's asking, hey, please enter the city. This time I'll enter Bengaluru. See what robot do? Now robot extracted this temperature in Bangalore. Close this. Let me re-execute and show you. This time would like to choose perfect. We have got it. Now, what is that we need? We need to get the text from there. That 35. I simply came here and typed get text. I can drop this here, click here, and the text has come. So whenever I'm getting the text, again, I need to store it in a variable. So this is the place. So for each and every activity, you need to look at the properties, which is very easy to understand. Control K is a shortcut key to create a variable. Str underscore temp value, which is temperature value. Now come here, change its scope. What does this mean? If I say do, my I can use that variable only inside this do. I cannot use it outside. If I change the scope to the what to where, which is nothing but I converted this into a global variable. Now I've got the temperature value as well. What is the next step? We need to compare what is the temperature. So how can we compare? Drag and drop an else if activity. We need to put the conditions. I'm putting the condition here. Str temp value less than 15. Is it a good comparison? Absolutely not. Why? 15 is an integer, str is a string value. So we are converting this to say int string. It's a correct condition. If it is less than 15 degrees, we use a message box activity to say, hey, please fear check it. Okay. If not, I'm adding one more. See how seamless UiPath has made all this. Now I'm giving the same condition. If the temperature is greater than or equal to 15 and temperature is less than 30, which means above 15 and less than 30, I'm telling my user, I'm giving a recommendation. Hey guys, here, shut. Last but not least, we have four more conditions. So, Syed, what if the temperature is beyond 30? Let me put the same condition here. If the temperature is greater than 30, we are going to tell our users it's too hot, kindly stay indoors. Perfect. Save and let's run. Before we run, we are checking. Okay, this page is open, so we're closing it. So everything looks good. Yes, it looks good for me. Let me run the workflow. We're going to wrap it in another 2 minutes. So enter the city. Now, which city I would like to enter? There is a latest. The internet, the total nation is having purge on KGF. KGF is also a place. Let's see what is the temperature in KGF. 29 degrees. So we got a suggestion which is less than 30 degrees. So hey guys, wear a shirt recommendation has come. Looks good. Now Sayed, okay, you automated everything, but why this was not closed by robot? Why you manually closing? Now, after my job is done, I want to close. We can close that as well. To make that happen, something. This is really slightly advanced, but don't mind. You can see here. I created a small variable here, and we need to close the tab. Yes, we have a closed tab activity. Put it here and control space. Perfect. I'll see what happens. But the web page will be closed as well. Now let's go a little international. 18 degrees. So 18 degrees is okay because above 15 is what we expected to wear shirt. And if you see, the website is not open. The website page is closed. So this is how the UiPath automations are really simple, really quick. You can have multiple condition. You can do validations. I did a calculation here, and then comparison, and then solutions. So that's the super thing this UiPath robots can help you to do here. So we did discuss all this. We built. Now, Sayed, we would like to learn these things. So, what do you recommend? So, the place for you all to learn academy.uipath.com. Please come here, register with your mail ID. You have some hundreds of courses and everything you can learn for free. You can choose your course as per your requirement. See, you can choose your course as per your requirement and learn them. And Hack to Skills is also conducting an RPA developer bootcamp. Please do participate, and that also helps you to actually pop up into it, into the RPA world easily. And then for students specific, we have this. Please, you can note down this URL: community.uipath.com/student developers. So there is an email ID as well, studentdeveloper@uipath.com, where you can send in your queries, your interest, your work, and we can go along. We have academy, we have forum, and we have community events. With this, today's session ends, and I'm really back to the comment section. Is there a feedback form? It's very powerful software. Yes, Om Gupta, you can give your feedbacks on the chat, and you can possibly contact Anuj, can help you. Is there RP another field of computer sciences like AI and part of AI? Bhavesh Kumar Gupta, very good question. So let me tell you something. AI needs tools which are automated. So look at RPA as baby steps to AI, or the front entrance to AI. Your AI cannot sit alone. AI is combination of data, analytics, and automation in real. So these three things have to work together to make an artificial intelligence application or a platform to run. So these they work hand in hand. Perfect. Anuj, thank you. That's it from me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sayed. It was really nice to have this session with you. Let's have some questions we have in comment box.
You reading them for me, or do you want me to just?
Yeah, I'm reading that for you. So, Akash is asking that please talk about its security, how secure RP is, because it will have access of all our personal details.
So this security thing we already discussed, but let me rephrase this. This data is used by robots. Used by, stored by has a difference. So robots won't store any data. They only process data. And the data is stored in your own database, Akash. Imagine you are owner of a company and you're using a mine, SQL, or any sort of databases. Robot goes there, reads data, and process and places it back in your database. And UiPath robots has no storing capacity, so it will not store data. It will not use your data.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sayed. The next question is from Bhavesh. He's asking that is RP another field of computer science like AI, or is
Yeah,
a part
seems
of
like I lost your
AI?
voice. Hello, hello. Did
Hello,
you?
yes, Sayed. So
Yeah,
Bhavesh is asking that is RP another field of computer science like AI, or is a part of AI?
it's. I would like to say not together, but they are complementing technologies. One technology complement the other. AI is something like It tells you what to do. RPA helps you to do. So you have a lot of jobs to perform. Your RPA would help you to perform those jobs. Now, RPA and AI are not too different. Every organization is looking at AI from the prism of automation. Your UiPath has AI Center. UiPath has all the RPA tools are now coming up with AI capabilities. So AI is part of RPA, I would like to say.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sayed. The next question is from Vilas. He's asking, are there any SD jobs available in UiPath?
Yes, sir. We have. We have a lot of jobs available. So please log into uipath.com/careers page, or you go to forum.uipath.com.
Okay.
You can find most of the openings out there.
Uh, yeah, absolutely. And the last question is from Abhishek. Are we able to use MySQL in RPA?
Yes, all the databases, MongoDB also, all the databases, UiPath robots, RPA tools interact with all the databases. And for students also, I would like to answer to the previous question. For students, for freshers also, there are some openings in UiPath. You can check them out in the careers page. UiPath robots, RPA robots interact with all the databases. They do perform everything, read and write.
Uh, Okay, I guess that's it. We are done with the Q&A also. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this session. Thank you so much, Sayed, for joining us on a weekday and being such a lovely speaker to us. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for the opportunity, guys. Please enjoy your weekend and have a great time. Take care, everyone.